Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chastity Buckley. I'm the host of Midnight R&B Edition, homage to Midnight Love BET, where I give all my flowers to all my R&B artists, singers, songwriters, and producers. But y'all know today is the day, y'all. I have a legend in the building. I have to say it, legend in the building. Man, this man has done so much stuff. I mean, 25 plus years. I mean, Aaron, what you almost at, what, 30 years in your career? If I have to
Yeah,
say.
about.
I mean, this man is a producer. He's a multi instrumentalist, not in that a songwriter, but not in that plays so many instruments. It's not even funny. But I have to give it up to this man, the legendary, the one, the only, Mr. Erron Williams. How are you today?
I peaceful. I'm great. I'm just kind of like stoked as far as being on this interview, and I'm just definitely excited. So thank you for having me.
Oh, well, today is the 20th anniversary of the fifth album from Destiny's Child, Destiny Fulfilled. How do you feel today has been 20 years? Like officially today, the day the album dropped. How do you feel?
Man, it makes me feel kind of old.
Why do y'all say that?
20 ago. Let me see. 20 years ago, I was 29.
But black don't crack.
Hey, water. Mind my business, etc. Uh, it's a surreal feeling, and I mean, for me to be part of an album that kind of changed people's lives and helped them through rough times is really humbling.
Oh.
I feel like the gift that God has given me is just not for me. It's for people that need it. So I'm definitely humbled.
I mean, and and I love that you like said all that in one nutshell because I feel that people when they talk about this album, they talk about how this album changed their life, saved their life. Like my friend JR, he's in the chat. Shout out to him. He was saying about Free just helped him get out of a bad situation when he was in school. So when you have albums that do that, like it makes you feel like you did your job, didn't you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it makes everything that I've been through within the past 20 years. It makes it work.
And that's why we give you your respect because not even that you did the final track level. We'll get to talk about that before on the show, but we want to get to know you as a person, a musician,
Mhm.
and everything of that nature because you did some things and people know they don't need to sleep on your catalog. We don't need that. Oh, so before we do get started, I want to ask you since we are in the 2020 decade and era, how has it been since COVID has hit for you? I know it's been crazy. I know it's been dying down now, but how has it been? And not even that, how has it been for you with your music creativity and everything? How has it changed your perspective on music?
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about the life part first.
Mm.
So since 2020, I have lost my father. In that year, I lost my pastor, Bishop W. James Campbell.
Sorry
Uh,
about that.
I just recently lost the mother of my two boys. So,
Oh,
from COVID up till now,
yeah.
uh, been it's been trying. There are some things that happen in our lives that we don't understand, but a lot of hindsight gives us the ability to understand why God does or did what he did.
Yeah.
Relates to my creativity. I was kind of lost, dealing with, life's swift changes. Uh,
Mm.
but now I'm kind of, well, let me say this. Since you have been putting that song Love like back in social media, I really had to step back and say, hey, Aaron, you have your own sound. So for a minute, I was so busy trying to chase the latest sound, the latest genre. And sometimes when it comes to A&R people, labels,
Yeah.
they want you to create stuff that's hot, like now,
Right.
like current. They want you to replicate that. So since you've been putting love back on the scene, I'm like, bro, you need to get back to your sound or my sound.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, so my wheels are spinning.
Mm.
I have some ideas that I want to do, some remakes that's in the works right now that I've produced. So I kind of want to put my own spin, my own sound, and just get back to me. So another thing too about that, this is for singers, producers, writers, and I'm religious.
Mm.
So let's just flow with it for a minute.
Right.
So I was thinking about something the other day when it comes to God and creativity.
Yeah.
God was just, as far as on a creative level, I mean, you can't fathom him making trees, clouds, birds, etc. So I was thinking about how sometimes we have a tendency to copy other people's sounds, looks, whatever.
Right.
Feel like just like we have our own fingerprint, that there is not one person on the face of this earth that has your fingerprint,
Come on.
which means that, God made you, um, he gave you your own unique ID. And sometimes I feel like we do God a disservice when we want to copy somebody else's sound, style. And I feel like sometimes he looks at us like he's disappointed, like we don't trust what he's given us.
Mm.
Even in my own musical journey, I had to check myself. I'm like, man, stop trying to sound like everybody else.
Right.
Stick to what God has given me as far as my own sound and my own level of creativity. So yeah, so life has definitely challenged my creativity,
Yeah.
uh, and it has really influenced how I think. Uh,
Mm.
being a little bit older now, that's one thing, and then just looking at the state of the music industry.
Yeah.
Uh, I get it. Stuff changes, and
Mm.
sometimes you have to roll with those changes. But just because stuff changes, it don't mean I have to like it.
That part you don't.
And some of the stuff I'm hearing, it's like it's great, but we ain't talking about nothing.
We
Uh,
not.
and this is on like the mainstream, but there are like a plethora of great underground and indie artists that's just blazing. So so yeah, so that's my perspective on that topic.
I love that. And my prayers and condolences are out for you, Miss Aaron, because I too sadly lost my father the year of 2020. So I truly understand where you're coming from. And I feel like this. I feel like once, they pass, they're your angels and they protect you. So when stuff
Right.
like this happen, I just feel like, God needed them more than we did. But I think at the same time is no matter what, the spirit is there, the energy, the love of what they brought to us is always living through, the legacy, of your children. So my prayers are out for you, and I apologize about your pastor. I understand how it is when you lose people that you love the most, but
Oh, oh yeah.
God gonna make a way. You still here with us, Miss Aaron. So look what God has. You had to come talk about your legacy, and I love that what you said about music. Be you. That's what,
Mm,
in a nutshell, be you.
exactly, exactly.
And I love that. All right, so now we're gonna get to know who you are as a person, because Aaron, everybody knows certain things about you, but I need everybody to know you as a person. So I know you're from Rockford, Illinois. Illinois,
Mm,
it's a lot. I met a lot of people on my platform, like Tim and Bob from Illinois. You got a lot of
yeah,
it's a lot of legends
yeah.
that
Those
run
man.
Illinois. So I want to ask you, how was it like growing up? And I know you said that you started in the church, and I know your foundation, like you said, is gospel. And I know
Mhm.
you did drums and everything of that nature. I want to ask you, how was it like growing up in Rockford? And I'm there. Where was the passion? Because I know you come from a musical family with gospel. Can you explain about that and how you got your love for music and creativity?
Yeah. So like you stated, I come from a musical family. So I have two uncles that play keyboards. I have a cousin who taught me who plays keyboards, bass, songwriter. I have a couple cousins that sing. I have some other uncles that play trumpet, lead guitar. So music was always there.
Mm.
My dad was a avid music lover. So I remember he had just stacks and stacks of albums in the basement, and he had this huge stereo system downstairs. So what we used to do, we used to hook our cable up to the radio so we can
Mm.
get GCI from Chicago in Rock. So in Rockford, we couldn't get like the R&B stations. We had one R&B stations, WLOV, LUV, something like that. But
Okay.
it turned at either midnight or 10 p.m. So after that, we couldn't get R&B.
Yeah.
So my access to music was, I mean, it was always there. And then as far as church, I believe I was probably born like in the basement of church or something like that. Um, so then I had another uncle who was the drummer of the church, and I was so fascinated with how he played.
Mm.
I remember just being on the front row, just glued to him and just watching him, play. So what he did, he saw that I had an interest, that I had a passion for it. So
Mm.
uh, picked me up, put me on his lap, give me the sticks, and I would play during service, and
Oh.
he pick drum and things of that nature. So then he would pick me up during the week, take me to church. He would hook up a tape player to the speakers,
Mm.
and he would teach me how to play, teach me about rhythm and timing and all that stuff. So I was surrounded by, greatness. I was
Mm.
surrounded by, and then plus Rockford was, at that time, Rockford was a pretty talented place. We still have some talent there, but we had likes of like Ann Nesby,
Oh.
who's a former singer of Sounds of Blackness.
Mm-hmm.
We had uh, Big Jim Wright, who
Oh.
was
Mm.
keyboard player for her, Sounds of Blackness, and also worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We had rock band Cheap Trick. Uh, oh, then there was another group that was, to me, ahead of its time. There was a gospel group called Psalms 100, and it
Mm.
was Isby, some of my cousins, things of that nature. But they really pushed the envelope of gospel music in the '80s. So
Mm.
things that we bring now, they was doing back in the '80s. So that really kind of shaped my musical mind, my voice.
Yeah.
So when it comes to church, you know, don't get me wrong. I love church. I love the spirit, the flow of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as it relates to me, I've been exposed to a lot of different genres. So sometimes
Mm.
my voice is just a plethora of different genres. Sometimes it's frowned upon. I'm like, I don't care. But um, but it's like yeah. So Rockford really, really shaped my musical mind.
Mm.
So I'm totally grateful to any and everybody from Rockford who had a place in my in my excuse me in my musical. Yep. So then so my cousin Stan, he taught me like the church side on how to play the organ, and my cousin taught me how to play the drums. But Big Jim, he gave me my first touring opportunity.
Yep.
Uh, so when Ann Nesby came out with her own project, I'm Here for You, he called me and he said, "Hey man, I want you to play on this tour." And I thought I was in heaven.
Mm. You
He
with
gave
Big Jim.
yeah he gave the R&B on the road experience. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely grateful to him and my cousin Stan, my Uncle Tim, and everybody else that had a hand in my upbringing.
Mm. And I feel like, and I love that you said that Big Jim was one of the first people to open door for you in your life. And Ed Nesby, I love her to death. And
Mm.
God bless Jim Wright. Oh, I miss him so much. But I mean, just that alone right there, Aaron, did it like really open the door for you to just go in straight in R&B and then mix the gospel? Because like I said when I talked to you earlier, I feel like your sound mixes with the two, even though we know gospel is the foundation of
Yeah.
genre music. Like, do you feel that being with Jim, he kind of taught you things, you were a sponge and just understand from what Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis about who you are as a
Yeah.
person? I mean, being with those icons, I mean, they believed in your craft. So how was it like at that time being with them? Like, did you learn so much?
I learned a lot. I had a great foundation already,
Yeah.
uh, but it taught me a type of discipline.
Mm,
For example, I was so used to playing jazz, gospel chords in certain places, but sometimes in R&B music, that it doesn't call for that. It calls for simplicity at times. So
preach.
yeah, so I had to kind of unlearn to learn.
Mm,
Also, being underneath Jimmy and Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, it taught me work ethic.
yep.
So rehearsals were 8 to 12 hours.
Woo!
Yeah. So when I first landed in Minneapolis, Jimmy took me to his place. I was staying there for a minute. So I thought I was gonna just be in Minneapolis, kicking it, go to the Mall of America and hang out. So he showed me my room, and there was a keyboard and a stereo and a cassette tape. Back
Mm.
then, still had cassette tape, so this shows. So he said, "I need you to learn this," and I'm like, "But I'm here to kick it." He's like, so I was shut up in the room for hours at a time, learning certain parts of the album. So
Mm.
then when I got to rehearsal, I know what I'm doing. So
Right.
it was a great learning experience. It taught me work ethic. Like, hey, you're gonna be in rehearsal for 8, 12 hours, and you have to focus.
Mm. Wow.
So yeah, that was a great experience as well.
Mm. And I know you said too, also with your first session was with DeAndre Patterson. How was that like being around that area, like in those sessions as well? Like, because you already, like you said, with Jimmy Tam and Terry Lewis, you're not the first person to say this. I had another amazing songwriter, Patrice Butterfly Stewart. She said they don't play. I
Mm-mm,
said they don't play. She said no, they don't play. They take it seriously with the songwriting, from how the way you construct the song. I was like, wait a minute, Jimmy Jam and Terrence will take that crap. She was like, yes, and they
yeah,
don't play. So I
yeah,
know you're not lying, Aaron. Like that series, they want perfection in
right.
so many
Yeah, so my experience with DeAndre was, man, I think, I did a lot of sessions, gospel sessions, and
mm-hmm.
they are all dope. But I think this particular session was, man, it had a thing on it. So I believe it was me, Jason Tyson, Rodney East, um, Pastor Ray Beatty, and Lil Tony,
Mm-hmm.
all Chicago guys, and they put me on color, which is for auxiliary, like horn, strings, things of that nature. And the vibe was, to me, it was just it was unbelievable. It seems like whoever picked all the musicians, like they just knew that, okay, let me get this guy because I know he's going to give me this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
To me, even to this day, that was probably the best session I ever, as
Mm-hmm.
far as material, as far as vibe. And I want to say Darius Brooks produced.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
I think another guy named Dwayne Drain had his hand in it too as well. So some Chicago legends.
Right.
Um, man, that thing was hot. Matter of fact, if it came out today or again, I think it still could compete with what's going on now.
Yeah, and like I said, when you take that sound, that modern sound, and it still resonates years and years later, it makes sense on
Mhm.
why the way music doesn't change. It always stays the same. And for you and what you did with DeAndre, classic, timeless.
Yeah, I think not only the songs were dope, but I think there's a thing that people miss today is like what you feel from songs. Like,
Yes.
we hear music, but we don't feel it. And I think that album, it just had mad vibe, mad feelings all over that joint. So, once you pop it in, your head is bobbing and you You could feel the up tempos, you could feel
Yeah.
the churchy stuff, you could feel the ballads.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was a dope project.
Like I said, music has to touch the soul. And once it touches the soul, then you know it resonates.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's always been my motto. Music has to touch the soul. So
Got
you hit
to
it right on the nail. Okay, so definitely. Now I know we talked about you in the '90s, so now we're going into 2000s. Oh Lord, the 21st century. Oh, Mr. Aaron. So I know for sure with you and you getting ready to start. You know, you're building your catalog, creating your music legacy. I know your first placement was with My Girl. So this ain't the first time you've been with this second time you've been with DC. This is your first like placement with Destiny's Child on the Christmas album. How
Mhm.
did you do Oh Holy Night with Michelle? Like, was it just like Michelle alone? How was that having that first placement? Like, did you feel nervous because this is after Survivor? Like, your album number 4. So you coming after that monster album, then you coming with the Christmas album. How was it feel having the girls on their first Christmas album? How was that transition of you now taking everything you learned from Jimmy Jam and Big Jim? How was it now doing it now on your own?
Wow, you know what? It was another surreal moment. And I think, well, I have two trains of thoughts when it comes to what I did on the Christmas album. I felt like I did me, which was, at that time, like when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, I was like, okay, I get it. You still learning, you still getting a foothold to it. But the thing about it that I really appreciated is being able to hear where I started and then hear, progress.
I
Even
like.
though there were some things that I cringed at, I felt like I could have did better, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just so flabbergasted that it was still accepted because
Yes.
it didn't sound like anything else on the album. It was more intricate, more orchestral, and sometimes once my mind gets going, it's really hard to just shut it off, or it's hard for me to say, okay, Aaron, that's enough. That's enough string. Enough, it's enough this and that.
Yeah.
But that moment was a surreal moment. So I remember we were in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of the studio. It was somewhere close to downtown. Um,
Mm.
but just being in the studio with my sister, and my cousin Dari, and I think it was one of my guys, Derek Coleman, who did on backgrounds. But just to be in that environment, working on something that I produced or I created was um, a surreal moment. It was, well, you know what? I knew that that moment kind of was like a place of manifestation for me.
Right.
So even before that, before the going out with Jimmy and Ann and all them, what I used to do, I would go to my church around 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and I would practice, program, learn how to program keyboards, which my cousin Stan taught me. So he had a 4 or 5 keyboards set up at the church. So, I was always curious. So I went to the church trying to figure out how each keyboard works, how to get them to communicate together.
Mm-hmm.
So he taught me like song structure and things of that nature. So I would go to the church at 9, and sometimes I would not leave the church until like midnight.
Mm.
So I was so dedicated to uh, my musical curiosity and my preparation because I knew that one day something was going to happen where I would need all this time as far as spending in my
Right.
my development. So I just knew that someday somehow that I'll be able to do my own thing on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So then it happened, and I was wow. So I was thankful that I had the opportunity just to be at the church and practice and practice and
Right.
practice. It got so bad where my grandmother would have to come to church. and she would have to just about drag me home to eat.
What? Aaron.
After I eat, I would go walk right back up to the church, practice some more until, till midnight, get up, go to bed, get up, do the same thing over and over and over again. I just loved it. That was my
Mm.
that was my safe place. That was just
Wow.
that was my world. So
Yeah. But you know what I feel, and I love that he was saying about Oh Holy Night because it's beautiful. I mean, you know what? Now I'm starting to think, like everybody says, your sister's the queen of bridges when we come to, Destiny Child, the Destiny Fulfilled album. But I
mhm,
feel like now I'm thinking about it, you were kind of giving us prepared for what your sister can bring to the table. Even though obviously, she got into the group in 2001 and stuff like that. But when you listen to Oh Holy Night, it's just Michelle by herself, beautiful.
mhm,
Straight beautiful. And I feel like your song, and now I'm thinking about it, your song could inspire Victoria Monet, her
mhm.
Jaguar Christmas album. And I'm like, because she dips into orchestra and instrumentation and all that stuff like that. And I'm like, maybe Aaron could have been an influence on that album because, like, when people do their own Christmas version or what we do with Christmas, I don't think they try to go to the poppy type of stuff. They want to bring something of instrumentation and
Mhm.
the sound, and not even that. Everybody know Christmas is more smooth versus with just like jumpy songs. We have Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, but some people just like that slow melody. Oh Holy Night is a balladry type of song, so you can sound like you can be an inspiration for that, Miss Aaron. I mean, pat yourself for that, sir.
Ellie.
Yeah. But your sister sounded beautiful. The way you did that, the strings, everything. I said, yeah. You just hear her and the sound, which was really
Wow.
good. So, oh, no problem. Even with that, and I know we're in 2001 now. You're going to help your sister with her debut album, Heart to Yours.
Mhm.
So, and I feel like Heart to Yours, and I'm gonna say this too. Heart to Yours sounds like you could have did that for Jill Scott because that sounds so R&B. I'm serious. Yes. When you
Wow.
hear that, I hear more. You hear the gospel, but I hear so much R&B and soul in that
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
in the title track. So I'm like, this sounds like neo soul, gospel,
Mhm.
all that above. So how was it doing your sister's debut album? 98 was a best-selling gospel album in 2002. Like, how did you feel doing all those milestones in that year, and then transitioning to that as well?
Wow. That was another crazy good moment.
Yeah.
For um creating that song. I was in my apartment in Hyde Park,
Mm-hmm.
47th and Greenwood. Uh, and that particular, well, I write or
Mm-hmm.
create according to how I feel at times.
Mm.
And according to what I wrote, as it relates to where I was mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I must have been at a good place. Um,
Yeah.
One thing that helps me create is my imagination.
Mm.
So there are times where I'm just, by myself and I'm thinking about just flying through clouds or whatever. And I think whatever I was feeling translated into Heart to Yours is to me is like it feels peaceful,
Yes.
very peaceful, very serene, tranquil, and but it has a good vibe. So yeah, that song, that's one of my favorites.
It's
Besides,
like my favorite too.
it just got this thing on it. So I remember I was creating it and I was done with it.
Mm.
So I called Michelle. I said, "Hey, Michelle, uh, come by the spot. I got a song I want you to check out." So as soon as she got in my, well, actually, I had my studio in one of my bedrooms.
What?
It was small, and I had a futon in the back where I'll sleep, and then whenever I want to create, I just wake up, get to it,
Right do it.
get right to it. So I called her over,
Yeah.
and I played it from top to bottom.
Mm.
It was like, wow, okay, yeah, this is mine. So then I called my cousin Damian Washington, who wrote the lyrics for it, and it was like the marriage between the music and the lyrics was just, it was just sounded like it was just supposed to be that.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything else would have been written on top of that, I would have been like, but it was perfect. The marriage was absolutely unbelievable on that song.
I agree, and then, like you said, I love when you said sonically, the music of sound was changing because in 2002 we're getting this new wave of
Hmm.
R&B artists, but also with your sister going into, your sister's always gospel. Me, y'all come from the gospel circuit,
Hmm.
so being with that, I heard a word the first single, but then I'm listening to the title track. I'm like, this is giving me like R&B vibes, but gospel. Uh-oh, Miss Aaron. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh no. Okay. Oh, he's coming back, y'all. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Sorry about that, y'all. He's coming back. I think he might have cut something. Hold on. Yes, it was. It definitely changed. I know he's coming back, y'all. I don't know what just happened. We'll see. Yeah. Okay, he's coming back, y'all. He just dipped out, so now he's going to come back in. Yeah, he's still here. He hasn't come back. I know, y'all. I cannot believe y'all. Look, I'm so happy y'all in here in the chat celebrating with us with Destiny Fulfilled, celebrating Mr. Aaron's legacy. This is definitely a great conversation. Let me see, y'all. He's coming back. Okay. Okay, let me add him back.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
I'm on.
good, Mr.
Yeah, I
It's all
tried.
right. You good, Mr. They look, they was like, what happened? I'm like, y'all, it's all right. He's coming back. It just kind of came out for a second.
Yeah, I should
Um
told people do not call me.
Look, I tell them do not disturb.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But back to what I was saying, definitely about Heart to Yours. I feel like in that era, in that time, 2002, we had new R&B, and your sister to come out with her solo gospel album. Like I said, was great because at this time the girls were separating, doing their own thing. But I think, Aaron, what you gave your sister, it was very soulful. Your sister's soulful gospel. She hits all those of the genres. So for you to have the title track, I know that was exciting for you to be the EP and all that stuff at that time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that I was when I tell you I was so elated that my song was title track. Now that was a great thing. But I'm not gonna lie. I wanted that song to be a single,
Single.
and
Hell
I felt like that would have been a great single to lead, your career off
no.
with something different,
Yes.
something fresh, something that people haven't really thought about as it relates to her voice.
Yes. I agree.
Um, I feel like, of course, that's my sister, and of course, I am biased. We have some great producers on that album, but I felt like Heart to Yours really showcased who she is musically.
Mm.
Yeah. But no somebody. Hey, I love everybody that produced a song on that album, but that's just my thinking.
Yeah, you the title track. You should have some say. I'm just saying. Look.
Right.
And then for you, you had also with 2004, you had it again. But do you know? I mean, that's a beautiful record as well. I love that record. Very heartfelt. Almost made me tear y'all the other day at work. I had to catch myself here because you be hitting people with the soul. But how do you feel having your sister's legacy at that time? Going back to back. Did you feel good having those title tracks because your sister felt? You have a great strong of those songs. Like you lead with that. You're leading the album with the sound of what it was at the time.
Yeah, I mean, going back looking over those times and, recalling, having title tracks
Yeah.
to the stuff, it was just amazing.
Mm.
Definitely grateful, and I'm like really at this moment thinking about that. Like, well, okay, well, if it happened once, it could happen again. So, it really has my wheels turning. But I don't know, just being in a place of where life is now, just being able to look back at some accomplishments, uh,
Yeah.
a humbling and yeah, really, it's a really humbling thing. So very grateful that I had that opportunity. So I'm just looking forward to it coming back around. Everything comes full circle. So,
Well, it made
yep.
20 years, so congratulations on that, sir. 20 years, too old, do you know?
Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
20 years, that's a long time, but not even just that, 2004. I always say that's the best era of music. So anybody, that music can't be touched. I'm just saying. Thank you for that. So now we are moving on to, oh my God, Lord Jesus, the best album from Destiny's Child, the
Hmm.
fifth album, Destiny Fulfilled. Oh my God, Aaron, how do you feel as a whole? Today is the 20th anniversary of this album. How do you feel about that?
You know, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty much just the same. Just really, really grateful. You know,
Mm,
really thankful. Really, really humbled.
yeah.
And the reason why is I wasn't like a I don't know a household name producer.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting started and things of that nature, but to have my name associated with a classic album that will go down in history
Period.
as one of the greatest R&B albums of all times. I'm just, I'm speechless, really.
Aw.
Just, I feel what I feel, which is, of course, humbled, grateful, thankful. But those words are not even sufficient enough to really express like how I feel about that time or those times.
Yeah. So my question is this, because at this time, I know today is the 20th anniversary of the album. I want you to walk us through about the process of love, but not that. Did you know that the girls were coming back? Because look, you coming off that '04 album. Do you know? Did you know the girls was coming back? Because y'all kept this big secret from the whole world. And not even that, at the time when all this was going on, how did you get the final track of Love? Yes, we're going to talk about that beautiful ballad Love. But not even that, what was the process of the time when you were doing Love? And not even that, did you know that you were going to be the last song off the album? How was that whole year before, like when after you come off Michelle's sophomore album, you're coming back with the girls? How did all that came about? But I want to find out. Did you know? Because I need to find out. Y'all snuck up on your girl.
Well, I did know. Uh,
Oh Lord.
I did know. So my sister called me. She's like, "Hey, Aaron, we getting started again, and this time we're going for this particular vibe."
Mm.
So, I get all excited, go back to the studio, and start turning out tracks and stuff like that. Uh, so I must have did about I don't know maybe 5 to 7 tracks,
Ooh.
and the weirdest thing happened. So previous to all of that,
Mhm.
I gave my sister a CD of just random songs that I produced, whatever.
Mhm.
And for some reason, all the new stuff that I produced, they didn't pick that. They
Mm.
this old song that was maybe I think I might have did that like in 2001, 2002.
What?
Yeah, so it was so I'm like, they want that song? Like, y'all sure? But that's what they wanted. So, and because it was so old, um I don't think I had the files to it. So I had to recreate it.
What?
So what you hear is like the second version of that original track. So I did my best to emulate what I did the first time.
Mhm.
So they liked it, and I was like, okay, well, if y'all like it, I love it. So that's how that came about. So yeah, that song was already done. Again, I was writing tracks and sending them out, and for some reason it wasn't hitting. But this one, Love, was the one that made it, and I was totally outdone, shocked, happy, all that stuff at the same time.
Aaron, you understand that song? Do you understand? Let me just 30 beauties in the room, only me. When I heard that at 15, I said, wait a minute. If a man tell you something like that, that means you're the one, period. I was like, where did Aaron and them come up with these lyrics that the melody? I got to shout out my brother JR from the R&B Representatives. He called it the most blissful song off the album. Like he said, it was smooth, pretty, blissful. Like I can describe it for me in my personal opinion. And my personal opinion about the song, it is love.
Mm-hmm.
It subjects that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
30
so
Beauty. Go
mhm.
ahead. I'm listening.
So just for clarification, now when it came to the, I didn't have anything to do with the lyrics. So
Uh,
it was, so once I redid the track, I,
mm-hmm.
I sent it out to my sister, and then here they come, writing on it. It was, I think, Beyonce, Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, I think somebody else kind of, put their ideas on. Yeah, tweaked it. And of course, Beyonce, she's a beast with vocal arranging.
Mm-hmm.
She she's one of the best in the business, hands down. Her thinking is so creative, and it's far beyond what I've ever heard before in my life.
Mm.
So they wrote it, vocal produced it, but then when I got it back with the lyrics and the vocal arrangement, I tell you, I was probably, it was almost like an out of body experience.
Oh.
And I think that's another example of music and the lyrics
Mm.
being married, and they just complement each other. It was like the music and the lyrics were made to be together.
Yes.
Um,
That what you just said made that
yeah.
work
So if
perfect.
anybody else would have wrote on it, I don't think it would have been what it is today.
Mm, 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 mm. I'm
So
just look, that 30 beauties in the room, only me. You see the confidence you give lives. When I heard that, I said that makes you know about that's a love song. Like
love. That's love.
Kelly's look, Aaron Kelly said that's one of her top 3 favorite songs from the catalog. Period. She said
Wow.
she loves love. Like love
Oh,
and if are her top 2.
yeah.
Aaron, you made people fall in love with that song. I'm just saying, sir. I'm just saying, like that whole song, it was flawless at the end for what it needed to be. Because I think my personal opinion, even though obviously y'all knew they were coming back, I feel like once you go out with a bang, you need
Hmm.
something like that to end with love and to lead with love. Going apart, that's what it's all about. Because we're all about love, and I love they talk about the friendship, the journey of
Right.
sisterhood, being a woman. I'm learning at the young age I am, but I mean, love is just like, dang, this song is beautiful. Like it's just
Yeah.
perfect. And I want to tell you this quote because my friend, he's in the chat right now. Shout out to my brother Jamal. Me and him were talking about this song, and he was just very enamored about this. But this is what I want to tell you about this quote, Aaron, because he talked so beautiful about your song. But I need to read this to you because he doesn't know this, and you definitely don't know this. But I wanted to read this to you because he talked about your song in a beautiful, most beautiful, beautiful way. So this is what my friend Jamal said about love. He said, love captured them so beautifully. He said that if he had chosen a DC3 song out of the whole catalog, this song would represent them as a trio. That's what he
Wow.
said. Not
Wow.
even that. He said the harmonies were so lush on the bridge. Your sister, the queen of bridges. We call her the queen of bridges.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said Kelly's glossy tone on the second verse and B's depth on the first verse as fire. So how do you feel that my friend Jamal said about this song, describing it as a whole Destiny's Child song out of the whole catalog of every from the beginning to the last one? Their love is the description of them.
Wow. I am
Aww.
humbled, and I'm almost moved to tears. Uh,
Oh, Jamal. Aww.
it's like, having, it's like when you are inside of yourself and
Yeah.
you create, you have no idea that what you create is going to be, or is going to impact people in such a
Mm.
deep, and it is mind blowing to me after after 20 years, that it's still reaching people, still affecting them, is still kind of reminding us of what love is through those lyrics and through how it was sang, through how it was arranged, um, the um, the carefulness of word choices, the carefulness of tones on certain
Mm,
parts of the song. So, you know, all of that is just I'm just still I'm still blown away.
mm.
Um, Still blown away.
What your song? You ended the last final track, and that's why I tell people all the time. It's great for the beginning, but once you hit the end, how's the album going to lead out? What journey is it going to take you? And I feel like once we got through those motions of the album and everything, love was the perfect way to end it. And it's flawless. But my friend Jamal is saying, I have to agree with him. That is one of the descriptions of groups, and not even that, the singing, the
Hmm.
production, the songwriting, everything about this album, this song and the album was perfect for me.
Wow.
And
Well,
I'm proud of Aaron.
tell Jamal I said thank you for those kind words.
Oh, he's in the
Definitely.
chat.
Thanks, Jamal. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, that was so sweet. But I love you know I love me some Destiny Fulfilled. So that album ended on a high note. So I wanted to ask you because of this amazing album. It went number 2 on the Billboard 200. Not even that, number 1 on the R&B charts. I want to ask you, how did you feel when the album went triple platinum? It went diamond in my house. But I wanted to ask you, how did it go triple? How did you feel when everything for the success of the girls, and how did you feel about them ending on the final chapter of a high note? How did you feel about all that, Aaron, when the album did become successful?
Man, I was living on cloud 9.
Yes, God.
I was, cloud 9. I mean, I was grateful, thankful. I just kind of felt like it's only up from here. You know,
There you go.
So, at that time, well, when I did the Christmas song,
Mm.
so I formed Kairos Music Group, um, which consisted of me, my guy named Lauren McGee. He was
Mm.
a producer. My guy Steve Goldsmith, who was my engineer. Lisa Washington, who was my business manager. Tim Witherspoon, which is Kelly's husband,
I
which
knew that.
yeah, which was like he was like my A&R guy.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, it's up from here.
Mm.
So yeah, I was like, okay, we are, setting ourselves up for, for greatness and
Mm.
for longevity.
Mm.
Yep.
That's, and Aaron, you did that because you
Uh,
you gave my girls their best album, and I will keep telling you this is their best. When we talk
wow.
about the DC catalog, everybody says if you want to end on a high note or pretty much go your separate ways or make sure that you give us a body of work, Destined Fulfilled is the blueprint of how you end out on a high note.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, everybody. I told you what somebody said, DC Thriller.
Uh,
You did
Amazing.
y'all did everybody on this album, y'all did y'all thing. You made sure that Destiny Fulfilled was gonna be remembered. And, to this day, people still want them back together. So Aaron, we need you and we need y'all and the girls to come do something. I'm just saying. Look.
I try to do what I can.
I know. And look, and then you look, and you by association because your sister. But I want to ask you too, how proud are you of your sister?
You know
Michelle, how
what?
proud are you?
When I tell you I am so proud of her, especially, seeing her humble beginnings,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah.
church, then somewhat being, ostracized by the church at times,
Yeah.
mm, and seeing so with me being her big brother, I'm protective.
Yeah.
Um, so at times there were social media posts that was put out on her, and
Yeah.
uh, I got on it, and I said, hey, I remember there was one post that said, "Do you think Michelle Williams is a gospel singer?" Everybody saying no, and I can't believe she made the group and yada yada yada.
What?
So yeah, so it's like it was crazy. So I said, my response was, no, she's not a gospel singer. She's a singer,
Here.
and I had to make it plain. I'm like, okay, I get it that her tone and her all that stuff is not what you guys prefer. Doesn't do all the fast fancy runs, which is okay. But I had to remind them that you know there are things that God requires of us, and one of those things is, can He trust us?
Amen.
So as far as her, it seemed as if God can trust her with being in certain genres or in certain venues, and she could still hold her own. People don't understand the work ethic that she has.
Come
Uh,
on.
they don't understand the tenacity that she has. They don't understand the boldness that she has.
That
So, I mean, seeing her even vocally, hearing her mature into what she is now, she's of course by far my favorite singer. Uh, especially um, one thing I love about her is that for some reason God allowed her to be in this group and be considered the weakest link. But then
mm,
as it goes on, she just soared as far as maturing in her voice and things like that. So even when she does, I saw the play that she's in now, Death Becomes Her.
yeah.
I was just like totally blown away by her vocals and her maturity, and I was like, wow. So, I mean, and then on top of that, going through what she went through with depression and that being public, and actually, it wasn't supposed to be public.
Mm,
That was supposed to be, under wraps. It was supposed to be
private.
hushed. Yeah, it was supposed to be private. But her, having to endure that and still doing what she does, I'm just very proud of her. I don't know if anybody else would have been able to handle the pressure, handle the ridicule, handle the long sleepless nights,
Mm,
handle her own personal issues,
right.
and still come out all right.
Mm,
You know, I'm proud of every aspect of her. So, yeah, she's amazing.
that's
Yep.
well, Aaron, like I tell everybody all the time, and we all know this. When we listen to Jessica Biel, everybody calls her the Queen of Bridges. So that's her name. That's her name. She can't go nowhere.
Right,
Michelle
right,
cannot go nowhere.
right.
And
She
it's
still got
funny
stuff.
what you say there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we still got some stuff to do. So,
That part. It
yeah,
was funny when Beyonce and Kelly was at the thing for Kamala Harris in Houston. Everybody on the comment section was like, "Where's Michelle?" So she
yeah,
must have did her job.
yeah. She's of course she's doing this play,
Yeah.
Death Becomes Her. So she'll be in New York until I want to say June of 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's doing her thing.
Well,
So
Aaron, they be looking for them three together. So I'm
yeah,
like, she did something right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but and that's why I wanted you to have that moment because I understand everybody talks about the beginning of the group, but Michelle is really the bridge and the heart of the group as well. And for
Mhm.
that alone right there, Aaron, that's why I said Love is one of the most beautiful songs off this album. You definitely need your flowers for that. And I give you your flowers for that. Much
Oh,
respect, sir. All
thank
the
you.
time. So I want to ask you, so you made all these amazing hits, Oh Holy Night, My Heart to Yours. And one song I do like that you did was Rain by Joshua True. I know them. I was like, that
Oh, wow.
song go hard.
You
Let it
went
rain.
way back.
I had to take it way back because I remember that back in the day when I think I was in choir practice, we sung that song years ago because I'm like, I know this song. And I didn't even know you were part of it. And I'm like, I remember Joshua. I know them. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
amazing. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, what is the key to making a hit? You got to lock that key for me, sir. But not even that, what is your favorite hit from, well, not even your favorite hit. What was your favorite song from your catalog or Destiny Fulfilled?
Mm. I love Cater to You is dope to me. T-shirt. Um, as far as my own catalog, it has to be Heart to Yours and Love. So, I mean, not because I did them, or they ended up being like title tracks or whatever, but it's just the feel
Yeah.
that uh that I created. Even to this day, I'm just like, Aaron, you need to get back to that because it just, I don't know, it captured me.
Yes.
To this day, just listening to it, it just takes you somewhere. So I feel like, um, I think some of the ingredients to a good song.
Mm.
It, now we will never know if a song will be a hit or not.
Mm.
We can feel like, man, this is going to be hit because we're in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating with other people, and there's a certain synergy
Yeah.
that you are creating with other people. But you will never know if a song will be a hit until it's released, and then later on, yada yada yada. But um, I think the key components is, well, one main component
Mm.
is, if I can't feel it, I don't want to hear it. Uh,
Mm.
the marriage between lyrics and music is very vital. And that depends if it's a fast song, slow song, up tempo, whatever it is. It has to, I don't know, I guess as far as message, it has to have a great message,
Yeah.
something to remind us, or maybe something to encourage or inspire. And then the music has, when you listen to the music, it has to take you somewhere. If
Yep.
you, so for example, one of my favorite producers, artists, singers, musicians of all time is Prince. Um, for me personally, when he created, it's like you can close your eyes and you could envision, you know, the lyrics of the song and all of that. It's like he puts you in the inside of his mind when he was creating those songs. Um, if your imagination doesn't take you to a place,
Yeah.
probably need to, go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
But I think heart, marriage between music and lyrics and imagination, are the ingredients for a hit record.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. That's why I said the stuff you did for Marcus Austin was dope too. It's like a lot of stuff you do. You
Hmm.
tell the story. That's why I said love.
Wait a minute. Let me go back. Mark Dawson, you heard that too?
Yes. Huh?
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
see you got stuff. You got stuff everywhere. Look, I did my research, sir. So I had to find stuff on you.
So yeah, so the Marcus Austin project, that was an interesting project. So I was kind of new in the world of mixing and engineering.
Oh.
So I mixed and engineered that project. So yeah, that was a dope project too. So yeah.
I heard some stuff on there. I said, "Oh, I feel like with that one too, you were really, really in your R&B bag in his element in that era. What you were doing with him as well.
Hmm.
That's that. Look, Aaron. Look, you got some stuff in the bag. People be. I'm like, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on Aaron.
Uh,
Aw. So now we in the era, sir, of the 2024. Well, actually, we're about to be in 2025, so we're about to be in a new year coming soon. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you, Aaron, what kind of stuff do you have in the works? What projects do you have coming up? And not even there, you know, Kyle, we talk about your music, your company. Are you still
Mm.
doing that, involved in that? And what's going on with now since you changed from 2004 to 2024? How's that new stuff with your new projects?
Okay, so there was a project that came out a couple months ago. The guy called "It's Just Red." Song is entitled "Ooh Wee," and that's on all of your major digital platforms. That's a great R&B song, a grown folks R&B song. I have another artist that I'm working with. His name is Bernard Johnson.
Mm.
Um, and you know what? That is not his last name. When you get 49,
Well,
Bernard
black
Burton.
don't crack.
Yeah, Bernard, yeah, my guy. Actually, Bernard Burton was um our demo singer. So a lot of stuff that me and my cousins wrote, he sang all of the demos. Uh,
What?
and so maybe about a year or two, we were just, talking, and he was like, "Man, let's release this stuff."
Mm.
So the stuff that we're getting ready to release is over 20 years old, but it's still
Mm.
relevant. So, I let some people listen to it, and they were like, "Man, when did you write this?" I'm like, "Man, this is, some stuff I had in my drive years ago." And they were like, "Man, this needs to be put out now."
Yes.
So yeah, so that should be coming out pretty soon. And then after that, I have a just a collection of gospel R&B jazz songs that I produced over the years. So my goal is to like release a series of 3 song EPs.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm currently getting back into the swing of just finding myself and things of that
Right.
nature. So I just want to get rid of or just release all the stuff that's been sitting on my hard drives.
Yes.
Share with the world, and hopefully they will be inspired, touched, or whatever by it. So and then when it comes to Heart to Yours, I have
Mm.
some that. So I got some stuff cooking for that. So
Okay.
it'll be like maybe a remix, or and then plus I have a bad habit of doing one song 5 different ways. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to just kind of, express how I feel about that song in different ways. So hopefully it will be. I may just put it out on social media. I don't know what the business will look like as it relates to music world and
Yeah.
Matthew.
Mm.
But I'm like, let's just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask you, do you have any unreleased track from the girls? Do you have any more stuff from that or your sister? Or...
Let me see. I do have one song that
Oh,
she tried out. Actually, she was going to put it on one of her albums, but because of the other writer, we had some little hiccups. So
yeah.
it's like, no, we'll just put a pause on that.
Mm.
But yeah, there's some couple things that she's saying that's not released.
So you just going to keep them in the stash. All right, Aaron. You see how you doing us? Look.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we can do with those songs.
Oh. But it's all right. I'm excited anyway. Anything you put out from the end of this year or going start on 2025, we definitely need that music. Like you said, people are missing out on the past. And I'm not saying the past, they just missing out on good music.
Good
Good
music, right?
soul. Yeah, and I love that you said that about people reaching out or just understanding how a body of work works, but not even that production and sound works too. So
Right,
you
right,
got that.
right.
Give your flowers on that, sir. Much respect.
Thank you so much.
So, yeah, yes, sir. So now since today is the 20th anniversary of my favorite album, the best album, the album of the what did somebody call it earlier? The DC thriller of their catalog,
Wow.
Destiny Fulfilled. I wanted to ask you if you had to describe one word about this beautiful, timeless album, Destiny Fulfilled. What word would you describe it, Mr. Aaron?
One word. Wow, that's hard. I would probably say timeless. Um,
Mm.
so when something is timeless, it transcends time.
Come on.
Um, it goes beyond um, genres. It goes beyond different vibes of the day,
Oh yeah.
of the decade. It goes beyond all that stuff. Um, yes, being timeless is to me, I feel like that's the mark of a genius, or Matthew Knowles and other producers that put this project together. They are also timeless. They are also so I would say timeless.
Mhm. Well, my word for this album is flawless. It's
Mm,
flawless, 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 flawless. The best. Oh, Miss Aaron, this album to me, this is how you end on a high note, or not even that. This is a blueprint of girl group albums, in my
yeah,
personal. With this album, for me, 2004 was one of the best years ever in the decade. I
yeah,
always call it the y'all changed the sound of music forever. Even though this was Usher's year with Confessions, we get it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. But when Destiny Child came back, I say, bye. I'm going to my girls. My girls came back swinging. I ran. I had the whole album cover on my computer like I was obsessed. No
Wow,
offense, but I'm a diehard. But
that's
I
cool.
feel with this, what I look at, I tried, but my thing about my girls was going. I was trying to get them to be Usher, but hey, it's just me and myself and I, so I can't do nothing about that. But with this album, I feel like this album talks about the journey of womanhood for
Mm,
everybody, but not even just that for men. I love when a lot of men say they love this album too, because it wasn't just for just women. It was for men. It was for people that were growing up with
yeah,
them, but not even that, just showing the journey of how it is to be in love, to be heartbroken, to love
right.
yourself. And let me tell you something, your sister, that song Through Love, that's her song. Her
Mm,
Mario Winans.
yeah,
I love Kelly, but I'm going to your sister for Through Love. She had me crying.
yeah,
She took
yeah,
us to church. That's gospel.
yeah,
Everything about this album really, really showed that the girls, you end out on a high note, but not even that. You make people understand that the legacy lives on.
mm,
And what Destiny Fulfilled did for me, even though I was very sad in 2005 when they announced their departure,
yeah,
I see that Destiny Fulfilled was the album to understand that it wasn't just about the destiny. It was about holding on to the dream, but not even that, living for yourself, loving
right,
yourself, having fun, not even that, being about a sisterhood or being about one in your music. And I
right.
feel that Destiny Fulfilled for me will always be number one in the
Mm,
catalog, the best, the greatest, but not even that, Miss Aaron, what you did for love. You showed us that loving yourself and not even that, loving the music and loving a group ends on a high note. And I have to give you your flowers for that. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Honestly,
wow,
I do.
thank you,
Look,
thank
you're going to have me crying and singing love when I get home today.
you. Well, help yourself.
Aw. So I want to give you the last question. So I want to ask you, because I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. I think you did, but I want to ask you if you had to give any advice for people into the music industry now. What you were talking about, how things have changed. What advice you have to give for any up and comers, like musicians like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
or producers, or people that want to sing, or any of that nature? How do you have them, I guess, get in these new era of music, and how the way they should get in the music industry?
Well, so social media right now is the way.
Mm,
Uh, Social media is just another platform, uh, just like record labels were, back
yeah.
in the day. But now it's like the playing field is leveled,
Mm,
so any and everybody can, release a single, a video, etc. But I think to me, it takes so much more than that. Of
mm.
course, marketing or marketing, all that stuff. Of course, that's needed. But I think, and this is just my own opinion, so don't take this as gospel, people. Uh, so my thing, the advice that I would give is to take your experiences, your heartbreaks, your disappointments, things of that nature, write on it. Um, put it into song, put it into poem form, put it into some some type of form that is, uh, I don't know, tangible, edible, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I think once you do that, you can relate to people,
Mm.
because there are so many people who are out there. They're jacked up, and I'm not saying that like in a negative way, but and I don't know. In the past 20 years, my life has drastically changed. Uh,
Mm.
so I'm like, I want to be able to hear something that's that's going to relate to where I've been, what I've experienced, what I felt. And so my advice is, take your experiences, write on it, meditate on it, and put it into a form where people can hear it.
Mm.
Uh, People can be, healed from just your writing. They can be delivered from mental anguish. And I think that is the most important thing that we should concentrate on now. I mean, nowadays these young folks, they are so talented and they're so gifted. I
Yeah.
think I think if we could get them to focus in on what's going on in the world.
Mm.
Don't give me. Hey, I'm 49, so I'm kind of up there. Um, so to a certain degree, it's like I don't want to hear about what color your behind is.
Thank you.
Even though that is a marketing thing, or it's a shock thing where
Value.
people, yeah, shock value thing where people, they're gonna listen to it just to hear, like, I can't believe she said that, and they're gonna listen to it, which
Yep.
creates buzz, revenue, streams, etc. But that's not gonna help me when I'm going through hell.
Mm.
Uh,
Preach.
that's not gonna help me when my girl left me, or whatever it may be. So I would say, write about things that are true to life.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we're hearing ain't got nothing to do with life. It's
Nothing.
just our director behind the desk saying, "Hey, y'all need to write a song like this," which ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Mm.
So I would say number two, be true to your own fingerprint.
Mm.
Not, do not. I advise you, do not try to copy somebody else's style. Now, I do know that we have genres such as R&B, pop, soul, neo soul, etc., and you can write within those genres. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
in those genres, you can still be you. So don't copy nobody else's style. Um, Trust your heart, trust your ear. Um, don't allow anybody to sway you from being you, because there will be people that won't like what you do, but
Preach.
there will be another group of people that will love what you do.
Mm.
So cater to them by being you. So that's what I have.
You better. What's that? You took us to church. You are church. That's why you do what you do, sir. I'm just saying. Oh my God. And I love that you talk about that. Always capture the soul of, people and just be an
Yeah,
inspiration. Like, and I love just to put it in, be an inspiration.
yeah,
Don't be a follower.
please do, because yeah, we need it in this day and
Yeah.
time. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
out here. So we need.
Look. Aaron, you took me to church. You just dropped so many gems. You got people in the chat just saying, they want to play the Christmas album because of you. Not really. So I wanted to ask you, do you have any last words that you want to say about Destiny Fulfilled or anything about your legacy or anything of the nature? What do you have any last words to say since we are done with our interview?
Man, I think everything as far as Destiny Fulfilled has been said. My thing is for everybody that's watching, listening, everybody that will probably watch the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm a church, and my relationship with God is to the place where I sense Him.
Mm,
I remember scripture, or He brings back scriptures to my memory for certain times, certain moments. One of my favorite scriptures is found in Third John. It says, "Beloved, I wish above all things that you would prosper, be in health, even
mm,
as your soul prospers." So, some of the ways that we can prosper is taking your talents and utilizing your talents, whether it be cooking, writing books,
yeah.
singing, art, making clothes, doing hair, doing nails, whatever that is. I believe that that's God's way of allowing us to prosper. Being in good health, also,
Mm,
we got to eat right.
yeah.
Uh, gotta we got to take care of us because we can't do what we do on a high level if we are not in a place of health. Um, and then number three, even as your soul prospers. So your soul is another word for your mind.
Mm,
So now that we are living in a space where mental health is the forefront, I would say, find you a tribe where you can be yourself and you can express your thoughts and feelings.
yeah.
Um, not feel bad about going to um, a counselor.
Mm,
Uh, Currently, I was going to counseling for a minute, but because of all the losses that I have
yeah.
experienced for the past month, I'm
Mm,
going because I want to be in a place where I have tools to utilize just in case, memories,
yeah.
moments, those things comes back. So, I don't want to be bound or frozen by trauma because
Preach.
because
Yes.
what it does, it takes you back to that time where it happened.
Hmm.
So you feel um all of that. And my thing is, sometimes thoughts are good because they tell us where we come from, and they are also an indication of the progress that we're making.
Right.
So please don't be afraid to reach out for help. um I'm pretty sure there are so many hotlines
Yeah.
that could, they're free, and there's one that a place that I work at called Bright Star Community Outreach. We have a hotline, and that number is 1-833-123-turn. So if you need to talk to anybody, call that number or find somebody to talk to or get counseling, because I want you to be able to be free in your expression.
Mm,
I don't bound, and you're not able to um, help or express in a healthy way, because we want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your expression of where you come from, what you've been through. But
right.
not only do we want to hear what you've been through, but we want to hear, how did you make it out?
Come on.
How did you overcome what you've been through? So that's my advice for you all. Beloveds, I wish above all things that you would prosper, be in health, even as your soul prospers. So in every facet of your life, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be
Yeah.
good. So that's my last words for tonight or this after.
You better, you know, much respect you. I love that because at the end of the day, is your mental health means more, and God is control of all this. And I love that you said that. Oh my God, you dropped so many gems, and Miss Darren, I have to give you your flowers. You really, really have made a mark in the music industry, and just so much respect. And I'm just so proud of you, and so proud of your legacy because no matter what, you have really, really changed the game for all of us. I really, really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much
I
again.
gotta, no problem. And I gotta thank you because my girls after this album, they gave me my high school graduation song, "Stand Up for Love."
Mm.
So I gotta, they always gonna be connected to me. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, really and truly.
No, thank you for having this interview with me. I'm really humbled. I really don't do a lot of stuff like this.
Oh,
I stay in my corner, just do what I do.
Right.
But thank you for having me.
Look, you made love, so you good in my book. You gave me my thriller for Destiny's Child, so I'm good.
Wow.
But I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, guys, and I thank you so much on the platform for celebrating this beautiful, timeless album, the 5th album, Destiny Fulfilled. And y'all, I'm so thankful that y'all, we have celebrated this album, gave it so much love. People been reposting it, reposting your song and everything about it, Erron. But not even that, I'm honored to give you your flowers, and your flowers are forever deserved on my platform. Guys, and thank you so much, y'all. We are done with the multi-platinum, multi-instrumentalist, producer, songwriter. I mean, this man, he can play any instrument and run around you in your church. I'm just saying. The one, the only, Mr. Erron Williams. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much for telling your beautiful story. But not even that, we are going to be always praying for you. And not even that, we definitely want to see you soar, Mr. Erron. And I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank
hey,
you.
I love you all. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Aw.